This vocabulary is split into two. This first slide contains a lot of C# vocabulary, and then later we'll go into XNA too, which is a bit shorter. Object-oriented code is designed around classes. There are other languages out there that don't do that. Class members are methods, properties, and events in a class. Methods are collections of statements or code instructions. There are specialized methods, such as properties, which change data, and there are events, which are called when something changes. The access modifier restricts what can call a method or what can assign to a variable. So you can make a member of a class private so that it cannot be accessed from outside the class. This is the default. You can make it protected, which means that derived classes, such as our engine class is derived from the base class, can access it. The initialize, update, and draw methods on the game class that XNA provided for us are obviously protected, otherwise we wouldn't be able to override them. Public is a member that can be accessed from anywhere. And the concept of exposing as little as possible is called encapsulation. The other concept I want to talk about is inheritance, which basically means you borrow members from another class. The class which lends out is called the base class, and the class which borrows is called the derived class. Polymorphism is the word for just adding new code in an inherited member. And to be able to do that, we need to override the member of the base class. Then we can replace code. And the base class can allow us to override by declaring something as virtual. And if you want to access this object or the instance of this class, then you use the keyword this. If you want to access the base class, then you use the keyword base, because sometimes you don't want to override and lose the functionality of the base class. IntelliSense is a big help. It makes you type much faster. Learn to use it. It contains a lot of code snippets, and it can paste in the code for you. Nested namespaces are just like normal namespaces, but they are within each other. And regions, that is something that I use to group code. Okay, let's get over to XNA vocabulary. On the XNA side of the vocabulary, we got to know that there is a base class called game, which we can inherit from. So we made an engine class, and the game base class will take care of a lot of things for us. The engine class is supposed to be pretty clean in the code, so it is more like a contents page of a book. Then we can put a lot of code in other classes, and we just call those classes from the engine. You'll see this later on. We have the constructor, which we called engine, and this is where we use the keyword new, because it instantiates the objects. The initialize method sets all the variables with the assignment operator, the equal sign. Load graphics content loads code and images to the memory of the graphics card, unlike initialize, which loads to the motherboard, the RAM on the motherboard. Unload we haven't really used yet that much. It will probably be a while before we do. It clears the graphics card. The main game loop is It's actually two methods. Some programmers choose to have only one method, but we have two in XNA. So the update one updates game logic, move input, and score and network and so on, and draws everything to the screen. We also saw that the graphics object contained a graphics device class which had code, a method for clearing, wiping the screen clear. The graphics device manager was what the graphics object was. We packed it up into graphics. The graphics device was simply the class that handled the current graphics card in case there are several cards or one card can handle several monitors. The graphics device was the class that contained the clear method. And we also saw that there were a game time parameter that was passed into the update and draw methods, and they keep track of time. Time since last draw or the time since last update. And they are defined in the game base class. There was also a parameter passed into load graphics content. I forgot to write that in here. It basically decides if content should be loaded or not. If this one is set to true, then it will be loaded. But we will talk more about that in just a little while.